What's up, people? It's Corsair coming at you with another Rogue Company video. Today, we're going to be looking at Talon and we're going to be looking at Dallas, and we're going to decide which one of these two rogues will win in a fair 1v1 fight. So I'm talking about both of these rogues get dropped in on opposite sides of the map. Nobody else is on the field. They have to find each other, take each other out. Who's going to win? All cooldowns they have their ideal weapons, whatever the case may be. Who wins this fight? Make sure to put your idea down in the comment section, and let's go ahead and get down into this analysis. So I feel like the first thing we need to talk about are their abilities. Dallas and Talon have very similar primary abilities, right? Now, Dallas has Target Finder and Talon has Radar Dart. So Target Finder, basically, that's when Dallas snaps his finger and then the closest enemy on the field is revealed to him, yes? Whereas Talon has Radar Dart, meaning he can throw that dart somewhere and anybody in that area is going to be revealed. Now, this is the first thing here that needs to be discussed, because one person here has an obvious distinct advantage, and that's Dallas. Dallas is going to be able to find Talon in a 1v1 super easily because that's the only person that he has to go against, and he's going to basically be able to locate him immediately. Whereas Talon is going to have to do a little more guesswork, right? He's going to have to maybe throw his dart somewhere and he can make sure that an area is closed off. But if he chooses incorrectly, right, because there's usually 3 lanes or 3 access points to any given location on a map, I feel like Dallas will be able to get some type of advantage, because while Talon is trying to figure out maybe where he's not, Dallas knows exactly where Talon is. So I think that's a very interesting distinction between the two. And as far as primary abilities go, I'm going to give 1 point to Dallas here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at their passives. Now for Dallas, we have the passive Recharge, and then for Talon, we have the passive Mag Glove. Now, straight off the bat, Dallas's passive in a 1v1 fight is pretty much useless because he gets the recharge ability when he downs somebody. So in a 1v1 fight, if he downs Talon, he wins. So it doesn't matter if he gets that ability or not. Now, if we look at Talon's ability though, Mag Glove actually has some huge benefits in this fight, right? Because while Dallas does have the ability to find somebody a lot faster than Talon, right? Talon does have that type of utility to where he can throw this dart, his primary ability, his radar dart, to a portion of the map, use his Mag Glove to grab it back once he sees that nobody's there, throw his dart to another part of the map, see if somebody's there, throw his dart to another part of the map, see if somebody's there, and he can keep recalling it and eventually probably hone in on where Dallas is. So looking at his ability to that point is very effective in this 1v1. And to add to that as well, Mag Glove also allows him to be able to play around like with his C4, but we're not at the gadgets yet, so we're not going to add this into this portion of the analysis. But just keep in mind, the Mag Glove does technically give Talon a lot more versatility with the movements that he can make. So I think for that reason, we're going to go ahead and give a point to Talon in the passive category. So the next thing that we need to talk about is going to be the actual guns that each character has. So we're going to look at their primary weapons, their secondary, and their melee, and we're going to lump all this into one category. So looking at Dallas, who's going to be on the left, and Talon on the right, Dallas has the AR, the HRM. And this is a pretty solid weapon right here. It's not the best AR in the game, but it has a fairly decent fire rate. It deals good body damage, good headshots. 3 headshot, you're down. Then he has the Devotion. Now the Devotion is super slow firing, but 2 headshots, you're dead, right? The Devotion, it hits hard as crap. Like, it's ridiculous. It hits so hard. When I first started playing this game, I thought it was a shotgun or something. Like, it hits really hard. And then for his secondary, he has the revolver. The revolver is the only pistol in the game that is a true 2-shot, meaning 54 to the head, I believe. Now, the other gun, of course, is, what's her name? Scorch's gun, but it's a burst. So each little burst shot deals, 20 damage? Neither here nor there. So that's Dallas's little loadout there. Now, if you look over at Talon, he has the SMG, the LMP, which has a decent fire rate. It's one of the slower fire rates for SMGs, actually. And it deals decent body damage, sitting at 16, I believe. So not bad. Obviously going to be more optimal at closer range than, further out. Now he also has this DMR right here. This DMR is a 2-shot. So if you get 2 headshots right here, it's over. It's a slow fire rate, but not as slow as the Devotion, right? So pretty good gun right here. It usually will get outgunned by anything other than the Devotion though. I think the Devotion is the only gun slower than this one right here, as far as the primaries go. And lastly, he has the P12K. This is the same gun that Phantom has. This right here is the pistol that has a fairly fast fire rate, pretty much as fast as you can pull the trigger that's going to shoot. But it has a very weak headshot body damage, right? So it's definitely not the hardest hitting gun in the game. Now, lastly, we have their throwing weapons or their melee weapons, which are pretty much on par. The throwing axe and the katana do the same amount of damage, whether you throw them, whether you swing, same thing. So that's what we're looking at right here. Now, if I had to decide who would probably win a gunfight based off the guns that they have, I'm thinking I would have to give this to Dallas overall. A 1v1, assuming that both characters or both players have the same amount of skill and gunplay, I would say that Dallas using his AR can probably outgun both of Talon's weapons in most gunfights, I would think, right? Because the SMG isn't going to outgun that AR unless it's close range, right? Which you're probably not going to let Talon get right in your face if you can help it, especially as Dallas. And also, while the DMR that Talon has can 2-shot, it has a slow enough fire rate to where Dallas will be able to get those 3 headshots off before Talon could get 2 headshots off with his DMR. Now, of course, if he's using the Devotion, a different story, but realistically, I don't think Dallas will be using the Devotion. So looking at like optimal DPS and damage, Dallas using his AR, I think he beats both of those weapons that Talon has in a realistic gunfight. Also, when you look at the secondaries, the hand cannon or the Magnum versus the pistol, I think that might be the only way that Talon could possibly beat Dallas, right? If it was that handgun versus the pistol, and that's assuming that you can tap fast enough and be accurate while trying to get like headshots on Dallas, because Dallas only needs 2 headshots to kill you. So I think in most situations Dallas wins just a pure gunfight, and with the melee weapons they're completely at a stalemate. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual gadgets, and let's see who has the best gadgets. Now, as far as gadgets go, this right here is an interesting matchup because Dallas seems to be at a distinct disadvantage here. And now I understand that it depends on the way that you use your gadgets, but just objectively here, Dallas has the EMP grenade, which against Talon probably isn't going to be super effective, right? EMP works for certain heroes very well, like Scorch comes to mind, even Vi comes to mind, but Talon isn't one of the people that you think you would run the EMP grenade for, right? The incendiary grenade is good, but it's mostly used for zoning, keeping people out. If you're on the attack really trying to push somebody, the incendiary grenade probably isn't going to allow you to do that unless you're Scorch, right? It's more for zoning people out. So for Dallas, I think that puts him at a distinct advantage here, because Talon on the other hand has the C4, which can be used defensively or offensively, especially with Talon, right? Because he has the mag glove where he can throw this C4 wherever he pleases, pull it back if that's the wrong spot, toss it somewhere else. So I mean, distinct advantage there. And the C4 is a 1-shot, right? The C4 deals big damage. Now, on top of that, he also has the flashbang, which is a very good aggressive weapon. And when you think about a 1v1 fight, being able to flash somebody, rush them while they can't see you, that can be a game changer. So I think without even too much analysis here, one person has a distinct advantage as far as gadgets go, and that's going to be Talon. Along with his passive, I think these gadgets allow him to get the upper hand here. So I'm going to give Talon the point for this one, putting them at 2 and 2. Now, the last thing we're going to look at are their actual perks. Looking at Dallas, he has the padded step, berserker, stalker, bounce back, headstrong, and then replenish as his last one. Now, Talon, on the other hand, has shredder rounds, padded step, tenacity, nimble hands, Sixth Sense, and Life Drain. So right off the bat, we can go ahead and get rid of Replenish for Dallas, and we can get rid of Life Drain for Talon, because both of those abilities activate when you down somebody in a 1v1. Those will not be useful at all, because once you down somebody, you win the fight, right? As a 1v1. Now, thing to note, both of these characters have padded step, right? So there's no real advantage or disadvantage there, especially since both of these characters are trackers. So assuming that Dallas knows where Talon is, and Talon has been able to track Dallas with his radar gun, even if you're moving stealthily, for the most part, they're going to have a general idea of where the other person is. So let's call that a wash for the most part on those. Now, Dallas does have Berserker and he has Stalker, so that means that he can reload while sprinting. He can also aim down sights and be able to not have that movement penalty, which is good. Definitely not game changing in a fight. Now, Talon, on the other hand, has Shredder rounds, and he also has Tenacity, and I'm just going through some of the perks, by twos. Now, Shredder rounds does allow him to hold extra ammo, but the more damage to equipment isn't really going to be beneficial against Dallas, whereas Tenacity is going to be a non-issue at all, right? Because Dallas doesn't really have any explosives. Even the Incendiary, I don't know if that counts as an explosive. I think it deals full damage. So Tenacity isn't really going to play a part in that, where Dallas, on the other hand, has two abilities that can at least be of use. Looking at the next two, Dallas has Bounce Back and he has Headstrong, two abilities that are actually very good. Headstrong is going to give him that 25 armor, basically 24 or 25 extra health, while Headstrong is going to allow him to get his health back faster in those gunfights. So very good advantage there. Now, Talon, on the other hand, has Nimble Hands, so it's just going to allow him to reload and swap weapons faster. And then he has Sixth Sense. Now, in a 1v1 situation, I think Sixth Sense is actually fairly good, because if for whatever reason he does lose track of Dallas, or he's not able to find him, this will give him the ability to at least realize that Dallas has eyes on him or is in his proximity. So based off my analysis here, I would say, based off the perks, Dallas would probably come out on top in more of these situations than Talon would in a 1v1. So I'm going to give this point here to Dallas, putting us at 3-2. So based off my analysis here, looking at their weapons, looking at their gadgets, looking at their actual perks, I would say that a winner in a 1v1 more often than not would be Dallas. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. I've gone through kind of my rationale. Please let me know respectfully down in the comment section what you think. Do you believe that Dallas would actually win more times than not in a 1v1 versus Talon? Or do you think Talon would actually get Dallas? I'm curious to know what you think and why. People, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow with another video. This is Orsa Course. Peace, 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 peace.